It is Friday, and welcome back to CBC News BC. I am Jessica Chung here in the CBC Vancouver newsroom. Okay, here's what you need to know today. Vancouver police say a joint investigation with iHit has resulted in a man being arrested in connection with two murders. 21-year-old Nahom Gizah has been arrested and charged with 2 counts of second-degree murder in connection with the death of 18-year-old Manav Kinkar, who was found dead in a Surrey park in May of 2022, and a 22-year-old Caleb Morin, who was stabbed and killed in a home in Vancouver 10 months later. And police say the two victims had no connection. And a former finance clerk with the city of Surrey is being investigated for allegedly defrauding the city of $2.5 million. Now, the allegations are contained in a search warrant obtained by CBC. It said the woman's alleged fraud came to light last year when she was questioned about what appeared to be a forged signature. Staff then allegedly found problems dating back to 2017 involving the discovery of 183 fraudulent checks. Now, the woman was suspended and resigned the next week, and the city of Surrey says it has enhanced its procedures and police are conducting a criminal investigation. And now to the wildfire situation. The northeast of the province continues to see fire activity, and the BC Wildfire Service says 4 new fires were discovered north of Fort Nelson yesterday, all considered out of control, with the largest fire listed at 80 hectares in size. And there are currently 47 active fires burning in the province. And some BC conservation groups are urging Prime Minister Mark Carney to appoint a British Columbian as Canada's Minister of Fisheries and Oceans. Advocates say that having a minister from BC could help protect the province's rapidly declining salmon stocks.
What I see is a critical need right now for a DFO minister that doesn't have to be brought up to speed, that can put their running shoes on and get on with the work, working with First Nations. And not only on the state of salmon here in the province, but to realize the strength that First Nation representation can have sitting alongside Canadian government in the negotiations with the United States on Pacific salmon writ large.
Now, the last 2 fisheries ministers have been from Quebec and Newfoundland, and Prime Minister Carney is expected to reveal his government's new cabinet next week. And as people continue to seek support in the wake of the Lapu-Lapu Day tragedy that happened nearly 2 weeks ago, calls are growing for a Filipino cultural center in BC. Now, the chair of Filipino BC says with nearly 200,000 Filipino Canadians calling the province home, a permanent space is long overdue.
Just thinking about exactly what the community needs, and it's everything from needing a community kitchen, needing kind of cultural space, performance space, and innovation centers, and really thinking about what other communities, Filipino community and cultural centers around the world have done, and imagining what it would be like here.
Now, a temporary resilience center is available in the meantime, but Aquino says this tragedy highlights the need for a place that celebrates the strength and resiliency of the Filipino community. And that's it for me. I am Jessica Chung, and you are watching CBC News BC. Stay tuned, don't go anywhere, because BC Today is up next. Good afternoon. Thank you for joining us. U.S. travel is still down, and that doesn't bode well for attendance at tonight's baseball game in Washington between the Toronto Blue Jays and the Seattle Mariners. We'll talk to a journalist in Seattle who's been following that tourism decline. And you can let us know, are you still boycotting U.S. travel and U.S. products? Plus, Mother's Day is Sunday, and at 12:30, call in with your special Mother's Day message for the mom in your life. We'll give away some BC Today prizes as well. I'm Michelle Elliott. Welcome to BC Today. The Toronto Blue Jays face off against the Seattle Mariners for 3 games this weekend starting tonight. Now, these are games that most years are something of a pilgrimage for BC baseball fans. But right now, if you go to Ticketmaster, you'd see tickets that can usually command $100 or so listed at just over $30. Now, those discounted prices seem to signal a declining interest. Mike Wilner is the former play-by-play announcer for the Toronto Blue Jays. He's also a columnist for the Toronto Star and host of the Deep Left Field podcast.
As it should, whether it's the threat of the trade war or whether it's the annexation threats, which I think are probably having a little bit more of an effect. I certainly would not expect anywhere near as many people as usually head down from the West Coast to those games in Seattle, and good for them. Honestly, watching the Jays games on the road, I'm surprised to see as many Blue Jays fans in the States as there are. Yeah, people just aren't going. They're, and I can't blame them one bit. I'm not going. I used to just, every month or so hop in the car, go down to Buffalo, do a little shopping and come back, and no chance. It's a dangerous place to travel to right now. And honestly, if you're thinking of going and you're an immigrant to Canada, please don't go because you might not come home.
Well, the numbers do indicate that cross-border travel is still going down. Data collected by the BC Transportation Ministry and the Washington State Department of Transportation show that last month, fewer than 100,000 vehicles crossed the border from BC. Now, that's more than a 50% decrease from last April. We're asking you on the open line, are you continuing to boycott U.S. travel as well as U.S. products? What do you think boycotts can achieve? You can call us 1-800-825-5950, 604-669-3733, or you can hit pound 690 on your phone. You can also email bctoday@cbc.ca. Well, Kim Malcolm is a journalist and host of All Things Considered on NPR affiliate KUOW in Washington. And she joins me now from Seattle. Hello again, Kim.
Hello, Michelle. It's such a pleasure to be with you.
Oh, nice to see you again. These games, the Blue Jays and the Mariners, usually it's like hordes of people, right, coming down. And you remember a couple of years ago when they had the Taylor Swift concert and the games? I was like,
it was Visitor Palooza in 2023. You had Taylor Swift, you had the Blue Jays, you had there was a couple of eating festivals. There was a lot going on. Yeah, that was quite the weekend. It's going to look a little different this time around, I'm thinking.
What are you hearing?
Well, it's interesting. I was just talking to my boss a few minutes ago, and he was coming in from the Belltown area in downtown Seattle. And he said, usually this weekend, Blue Jays weekend on the Friday morning, you would see hordes of people, tons of Blue Jays jerseys on the streets. He said he didn't see anybody this morning, not a person. And the first game is today. And so that really, really stood out for him. It's, as you know, I mean, the Blue Jays fans coming can boost attendance by 20,000 each game. That's quite a proportion of the ballpark that holds about 48,000, a little bit more than that. I have been doing some reporting on this. I talked to some Canadians who were kind of reassessing their plans. These are folks who would make it a regular thing to come down. It was like a highlight of the year to come down and spend a few days in Seattle, enjoy the baseball. There's one tour company I spoke to that runs charter buses like in a package tours for the weekend, usually like 3 or 4 nights. They would send down, several buses, and it would be about maybe 150 to 250 people. They're all canceled, all of them.
Wow.
Another company I talked to in Calgary, Lifetime Highs Tours, last fall there was a time when things were looking positive, and they were optimistic enough to think about maybe sending 2 buses down, and this is for a 7-night trip. So this is quite the extensive, in all 3 games, and it's things to do around Seattle. They were considering putting 2 buses together. They told me, Kathy and Sandy Monroe, the owners, they were so grateful that they didn't do it, because demand just plummeted after late January, early February, when the rhetoric from President Trump started ramping up. And they are still running a bus, but it's only about half full. And they'll consider themselves lucky to break even.
Wow. And are you talking to any Canadians who seem torn about this?
Oh yeah, absolutely. I spoke to one gentleman, Keith Patterson, coming from Medicine Hat, and he loves the Jays, loves them so much, and he's been coming down with Kathy and Sandy Monroe now for a couple of years. And he was, thinking, after all the rhetoric started about the 51st state and annexing Canada and the tariff war, of course, he was thinking, he wasn't sure what to think. And his wife said to him, this is what he told me, forget it. No, we're not going. And he basically said, okay, now hang on. Let's just think about this a little bit. But it just, that personal interaction,
Yeah.
I think that just kind of shows you, for devoted, baseball fans, Jays fans, and it's fun to come down to an American city like Seattle and have a good time and cheer on the team and take over the stadium and irritate all the Mariners fans who are here. That's a lot to forego, but a lot of people are making that decision. I'll just tell you that Keith told me in the end, he and his wife decided that they would go.
Yeah.
But the reason it had more to do with feeling that baseball is important. It's important to enjoy yourself when you can. And they had deep, deep loyalty to the people that they've been doing this tour with, and they wanted to support them. So.
Okay, well, I'm glad you had an ending there, because I was on the edge of my seat. Like, what did Keith and his wife decide in the end? So, right. And so you're talking about the Monroes and their businesses. Like, how are Seattle businesses responding to this?
Yeah, it's the numbers are going down. You touched earlier on the border crossings, and month over month, it is accelerating. So back in, let me see here. Yeah, it was February. Border crossings between BC and Washington dropped by 30% year over year. Get to March, it's 42%, and now, just as you told us earlier, it's about half. And that's significant. Now, yes, you are able to find a parking spot now at the Trader Joe's in Bellingham. Now, in the larger scheme of things, really, is that really what you're going for? I don't know, but local businesses here are definitely responding. I had a chat with Bob Donegan. He's the head of Ivor's Seafood Restaurants here, kind of an iconic restaurant chain. And he was at a community business roundtable, and the CEO of Microsoft, Brad Smith, was talking, and he was lamenting this deteriorating relationship between Canada and the U.S. that's happening at these higher levels. Really nothing to do with folks down here on the ground. And he said, we should really do something about it. And so Bob told me he started chatting with Howard Wright, who's the head of the Seattle Hospitality Group, and this is the group that owns the Space Needle and a lot of other businesses. And they said, well, why don't we offer to take the Canadian dollar at par, so basically a 30% discount, and for all our Canadian guests for the Blue Jays weekend. And so that'll help you out if you want to take an Argosy boat tour, if you want to go to Ethan Stoll restaurants. There's a bunch of different hotels that are also participating. He did say that, I asked him, like, are you worried that Americans are going to try and get in on this and just, throw a few A's around and try and get the 30% discount?
Say
And
sorry.
he said he didn't think that was likely. All you have to do is present a valid Canadian ID, and they'd be happy to take 30% off the bill. Yeah.
That's so interesting. And so they're obviously worried about a downturn in the economy locally then.
Yeah, definitely. It is a volatile situation. They're tracking the numbers over the long term, and I spoke to the head of Visit Seattle and Tammy Canavan, and she told me it's kind of hard to compare apples to apples in this situation because often Canadian Blue Jays weekend happens in July, so peak tour season, and the weather is great. But this year it's on the Mother's Day weekend, obviously.
Right.
And, the weather's maybe a little bit more volatile. Also, people may already be concerned about the dollar if they haven't heard about this deal already. They may have already made their decisions. But so she was hesitant to talk about what kind of impact it's had on the economy so far. But they're watching the numbers very closely, and they are trying to do some fun things to try to let Canadians know that they're welcome. They're putting up some selfie stations for Canadian visitors, so people can show their heart emojis for Canadians. They're going to be piping in some Canadian music into the parks. They're going to be distributing window clings for small businesses so they can put them up in their windows and just say, "Hey, Canada, we're so glad you're here." They're gonna see how this goes, this Blue Jays weekend, and then they're gonna kind of reevaluate and go from there. But Tammy was pretty clear with me. She said, Canadians may just not be feeling it at the moment. There's reasons why they feel the way they feel, and they are voting with their pocketbooks and whether or not they're going to come, and we have to respect that. And all we can do is just say, we're open to you, we're welcome, you're always welcome here, and we respect how you're feeling right now, but we sure would love to see you again, and we'll try and make the deal as sweet as possible.
Just pipe some Rush over the speakers.
There you go.
Bryan Adams.
There you go. That's all.
Shania Twain. There we go. Kim, thank you. Always great to speak with you.
And with you, Michelle. Have a great weekend. Go Mariners.
Go Blue Jays. Kim Malcolm, journalist, host of All Things Considered on KUOW in Washington State. Let's take your calls now, asking you if you are still boycotting U.S. travel or U.S. products. Our numbers are 1-800-825-5950, 604-669-3733. Jacques is on the line in Kelowna. Hi, Jacques.
Hello there. Good afternoon.
Good afternoon.
I'll just start and say I love our American cousins. I love the country. It's beautiful. It's fascinating. And I truly love a lot of their products, of course. And but it's certainly with the rhetoric and the actions out of the States, I pretty much immediately went, I'm not going to shift my dollars down there. We've the financial impact for the whole country remains to be seen, depending on how long the tariffs stay in place. And so I say I have my sister lives in Texas. I have a sister-in-law who lives in California, and my father, at the same time as I did, basically told my sister we're not coming down, and she's pretty sad. She's actually up here for a visit because we're gonna vacation here in BC, which is beautiful. But and yeah, in terms of product purchase, I mean, there's some things that we just need from there. Tooling that's not available anywhere else. But I import products from the States, and I work in the fluid power industry, and those products are more expensive. But I prefer to support North America, right? I've considered America our partner in industry, and why support the Chinese regime in essence. But based on the cost, we sort of have to for some things now. And I'll say it just on the tariff note, like tit for tat, what the U.S. has done, or Trump specifically with the tariffs, is hurting the Americans directly, right? The American public is going to pay for those tariffs, and our corporations will absorb those costs. Our government, in putting reciprocal tariffs in place, for one thing, will irritate the thin-skinned president. And for another thing, if it's dumb for them to do it, I would question our politicians to look at the logic of how does it really, you have to respond to a bully. And I say respond by not supporting them as much as possible. But affecting our economy and making our costs higher, increasing inflation on products here, sort of has a negative effect as well and might push us into recession. So I would ask them to consider it and go, make the choice yourself. Don't be forced into it from a cost perspective. Do it because you want to, not because you. Anyway, those are my thoughts on it. And
really good to hear from you, Jacques. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Take care. Andrew is next now in Gibsons. Andrew, how do you feel about traveling to the States?
Hi there. I'll say I, for the most part, remain solid with the rest of Canadians that we shouldn't be spending a whole bunch of money down there. But I actually do have to say that I went down to the States for the Jays or for the Mariners versus the Rangers a few weeks ago. And I had nothing but a positive experience. When people down there found out that we were Canadians, they were super thankful, and they were like, "Oh, we're so happy to see you down here." I'm going to the game tomorrow night and the Jays game on Sunday afternoon as well. And I just can't say enough. I don't think we should be attacking or kind of, punishing our neighbors to the south in Washington State. They're not like the rest. They're really upset about what's happening with these tariffs and everything. And that's all the conversation we had down there was how thankful they were to actually see some Canadians.
So it's specific to Washington State. Your kind of support is specific to Washington State then?
Yeah, I think so. And at least for us, I mean, it might be out east where they would support, upper state New York and whatever. But I just think that they're really getting hit hard down there, and they don't deserve what's going on. I know that there's some kind of political action happening with the governor of California, and I think the governor of Washington was in on a lawsuit against the federal government against these tariffs. So, they're trying all they can to make us feel comfortable and wanted down there. And I just don't think they should be punished like the southern states might want to be, right? Like the red states down south. But nothing but a great experience.
Andrew, thank you so much for weighing in on this.
Thank you.
Take care. Andrew in Gibsons. Now, interesting there, talking about what the impact would be on Washington State. We're going to hear now about the impact on the retail sector. Bruce Winder is a retail analyst and author and joins me from Toronto. Hi, Bruce. Welcome back to the show.
Hey, Michelle. Thanks for having me on again.
Well, when you hear about the Buy Canadian movement, like we're hearing about, travel locally, people seeming to not be crossing the border, fewer people going to the game, it seems like this weekend, the games this weekend. What about retail? What's the impact there?
Yeah, it's a tough one. I mean, retailers are definitely seeing an uplift in Canadian products. That's something we've definitely seen. Small independents seeing an uplift as well, local folks. But my argument, we have to be a little careful with this. We have to be balanced with it. I use the example of, we don't want to punish American companies that are operating in Canada that employ Canadians. And there's a lot of them. There's a lot of them that have branch plants and infrastructure. You look at someone like an Amazon, they employ about 45,000 people. They've got about 70 warehouses. They've spent about $50 billion in the country since 2010. So we got to be careful that we don't shoot ourselves in the foot, so to speak, by boycotting Canadian retailers or American retailers operating in Canada. I kind of like what Loblaws has done. They've had a good balance, I think. They let the consumer decide. They put maple leaves on the products in the grocery stores. They put a little T on the tariff items to let you decide as a consumer which ones you want to pick. They're not making that choice for you.
And how accurate is that? Because we know because of how complicated the supply chain is, how accurate is it when you look at something that has that Canadian flag on it, that it is going to be a Canadian product?
Yeah, it's pretty accurate, right? I mean, you might have the odd error here and there, human error, but you know what? It's accurate, and it's a bit of an open discussion about sort of the definition, right? It's not as cut and dry as it used to be about something made in Canada or made in the U.S. A lot of the products we consume are partially made in Canada, partially made in the U.S., partially made somewhere else. So I think it's really just, retailers are trying to do the best they can to look for something that was either fabricated in Canada, made in Canada, processed in Canada, and that's what they're using for the maple leaf.
Let's take a call from Leanne in Abbotsford. Hi, Leanne. What are your thoughts on boycotting travel or shopping from the States?
I think it's kind of infantile. I'm really not following any of it. Like, I even go into my local liquor store and I can't buy the alcohol that I choose to buy because we're saying, Orange Man is bad. What happened to making our own informed decisions? I was just watching it on TV, and they're telling people, don't go to the U.S. It's dangerous. Don't go there. Like, that's total fear-mongering.
So you're saying, is it better for you in this kind of example we see from Loblaws where they put the sign up and it's your decision whether, what you do with that?
Absolutely. I mean, the last time I checked, I was told we live in a democracy. I beg to differ. But, What? I don't understand where this is even coming from. You know, I don't understand where this is coming from. From my understanding, from everything I have seen, Donald J. Trump told Trudeau that we need to secure our borders. He told the president of Mexico the same thing. We need to. It's crazy what's going on down there. It's crazy what's going on here. I mean, we live in Vancouver, and so what do? You know, we're going to try and secure the borders from fentanyl and sex trafficking. I mean, $36 billion annually in child sex trafficking. Like, that's insane. $150 billion in human trafficking in a year. So he wants to secure the borders, and we're going, sure, maybe. I don't. So he hits us with tariffs, and now he's the bad guy.
Leanne, thank you very much. And since then, you know, since the concerns raised by Donald Trump, Canada announced it is spending $1.3 billion on a border security plan. This was back in December, following those concerns around the flow of drugs and migrants. So that coming from the federal government back in December. Thanks for the call, Leanne. Jillian in Port Alberni. Hi, Jillian.
Hi, I'm going to put a little bit of a positive spin on this because I'm continuing the boycott. But shopping used to be routine, and now it's an adventure because every time I go into the store, I have my magnifying glass out and I'm checking label by label, and I'm finding all kinds of little Canadian brands that deserve a chance. And this is their chance to get a foothold. Skincare products, food products. I tried a new snack food. It was absolutely wonderful.
Jillian, I'm just going to pause you for one moment. I'm just going to let our TV audience know that we will be breaking for a commercial break in just a few seconds here, but we will see you back here in 2 minutes from now. But let me go back to you then, Jillian. So it sounds like what you're saying is less of a boycott and more of a supporting Canadian businesses.
Absolutely. I love the change in the LCB. I bought a bottle of wine simply because it came from Montreal, and I'd never seen it before. In breaking routines, there's a whole realm of adventure out there. So I look forward to the boycott. I'm having a grand time with it. And the one thing that Canadians have always puzzled me. In Japan, where I used to live, the first thing people do is travel to see their own country. And Canadians, it strikes me, are allergic to their own country. They have been allergic to their own country. It's time to put get on the road and go see the country, this amazing country that we've got, and enjoy it.
Jillian, seeing the opportunity there. Thank you very much for the call.
Thank you.
Take care. And Diana is our last caller now in Burnaby. Hi, Diana.
Hello.
Yes, your thoughts on whether you're going to continue or you are boycotting travel to the States and shopping from the States?
Well, not so much shopping, but I have family that lives in Portland. And I can't stop seeing my sister. Actually, I'm planning a trip this Thursday. But then I'm actually nervous at the same time because I hear that the way we're being treated at the border, which is a federal issue. It's nothing to do with the Washington State. They're wonderful people. So there's extra blockades, and the traffic is, longer. And I'm still going because I have family. I have a sister. My mom lives there. And I love I traveled in February to Seattle Premier Outlets. And the people are just like, we miss Canadians. And usually we get a discount as a Canadians, but they didn't have it at that time. But the guy at the store said, you know what, I'm going to give you my manager discount because we guys miss you. They're just wonderful people. I just can't do that, but at the same time, I'm nervous crossing the border. Really have to be honest with you. That's my biggest concern.
Yeah, Diana, thank you for the call. And there we have reported on another checkpoint on the U.S. side for Canadians returning to Canada. And, what we've heard from immigration lawyers is that, the further questioning or scrutiny may be something that you may expect as you cross the land border. Thanks so much for the call, Diana from Burnaby. So Bruce Winder, who's a retail analyst, joins us. We've been hearing, of course, we had a caller earlier say, yeah, politicians are telling us to buy Canadian or encouraging us to avoid U.S. travel. Do you think this will continue? We've also just had this meeting, right, this week between the Prime Minister and the President. Will that have any kind of impact as we move forward?
Yeah, I mean, I don't have a crystal ball, but my hope is that based on the meeting that Prime Minister Carney had with President Trump this week, and based on the new agreement that the United Kingdom struck with the U.S. that was announced this week, I'm hoping that over the next several weeks, maybe months, that Canada can strike some type of agreement with the U.S. and try to sort of scale all this back. That's what I'm hoping, because the longer it goes on, the more it's going to hurt our economy, either directly or indirectly. So that's my hope. That's probably what's going to happen based on the relationship, and that would solve some issues for Canada. Not all issues, but it would solve some of them.
Really good to speak with you again, Bruce. Thank you for your time.
Thanks, Michelle. Take care.
Take care. Bruce Winder, retail analyst and author. He joined us from Toronto. It is 12:31 now. This is BC Today. Thanks so much for joining us. I'm Michelle Elliott. I see a lot of emails coming in as well on shopping or not, or traveling or not to the United States. Thanks so much. You can keep sending them to us, bctoday@cbc.ca. And coming up in a couple of minutes, we are heading into Mother's Day weekend. Yes, if you didn't know, this is your reminder. I'm doing you a favor. We are going to take your messages, your special Mother's Day messages for the mother in your life. Opening up the phone lines to you. That's coming up after this CBC News update with Rob Zimmerman.
Good afternoon. BC's Jobs Minister says the province's job force is holding steady in the face of global volatility and shifting economic winds. Diana Gibson says the province had a small gain of 6,000 jobs in April compared to the previous month. She says so far this year, BC has gained more than 51,000 full-time jobs, marking the highest increase among provinces. Premier David Eby is defending the NDP's proposed legislation that would fast-track infrastructure and resource projects across the province. He's responding to growing backlash from Indigenous groups who say the broad nature of the bill could mean environmental protections and First Nations consultations are steamrolled. And the BC Wildfire Service says 4 new fires are burning out of control in the Prince George Fire Centre. The service says all 4, which range in size from 1 to 80 hectares, are suspected to be caused by lightning. Another fire discovered yesterday in the Southeast Fire Centre near Nelson is also burning out of control. And now the forecast on the north coast. A chance of showers this afternoon with strong winds and a high of 9. Highs up to 16 with a mix of sun and cloud in the Peace. In the central interior, including Prince George, mainly cloudy with a high of 13. Highs in the low 20s with a mix of sun and cloud in the Kootenays. In the southern interior, including Kelowna, some sun and cloud with a high of 21. And for Metro Vancouver, Greater Victoria and the Fraser Valley, mainly cloudy this afternoon with highs from 16 to 19. That's your CBC News update from Vancouver.
Thank you, Rob. Rob Zimmerman in the CBC Vancouver newsroom. Okay, I said that we were getting a lot of emails on travel to the United States. Colleen writes, sure, it's too bad that Americans are hurting, but they can do something about it. All we can do is boycott. And lots more here. Let me just scroll through. Alf writes, we have no intention to head to the U.S. for a long time. I have family in the United States, and they completely understand our choice and support our choice. We are avoiding purchasing any U.S. product or U.S. distributor. For us, it's not about what a boycott might achieve. It's all about not supporting a leader that's openly being hostile and threatening to our existence as a country. They elected a leader who's trying to destabilize the world and is spreading outrageous lies about Canada. So please keep boycotting and just say no to U.S. manifest destiny fantasies. Alf, thank you very much. And Jane writes from Vancouver, I will not be traveling to the U.S. My parents' queer trans child is married to a Mexican immigrant to Canada. I myself am a physician and provide abortion services. My son is very politically active and has protested in Free Palestine demonstrations. All of these factors make it unsafe for my family to even consider U.S. travel. There is more than the economy to consider. There's a culture war on. Jane in Vancouver, thank you for your email. bctoday@cbc.ca is our email address. 12:36 now, and Mother's Day, yes, is coming up. We are opening up the phone lines for you to share your special Mother's Day message for the mother in your life. You can call us now, 1-800-825-5950, 604-669-3733, or you can just hit pound 690. You can also email bctoday@cbc.ca. We will draw for some BC Today prizes at the end of the show, so do call or email us now. Well, for many, Mother's Day may mean getting some flowers or a special brunch or something a little more out of the box. CBC's early edition intern Tammy Pack took to downtown Vancouver to ask moms what they really want.
Relax myself, go to the spa, have a manicure and pedicure, do something just for me.
I just want a day to myself. Like not having kids barging in at 6 a.m, or to read and not having to run around with kids activities, like relaxing, going for a walk with my husband if he's free and not watching the kids.
We're not going to do brunch. We're not going to do it. I don't know. We like dinners.
Who's cooking, or are you going out?
I think we're going to go out. She loves sushi, so. Yeah, well, yeah. It's cute. I mean, whatever she wants to do with me, I'm fine. So, yeah.
Actually, I love going for breakfast and brunch. I love doing that. But we're going to do afternoon tea as well on the Monday because they're all booked up on Sunday.
We've gone for brunch. Has been really fun. Or getting to just sit outside in my garden and read is really nice sometimes.
I'm a little different. I'm actually a single mom by choice, meaning I have my children on my own via the fertility industry. I don't have a spouse, so I typically treat myself because I'm on duty 24/7, no matter what goes down. I enjoy the kind of typical stuff too. I usually get myself a gorgeous hanging basket for the season. Maybe go to a cafe or have a little picnic in the park with some takeout, no dishes, no laundry, that kind of stuff.
I don't have any plan because my husband is away for his mom, so.
How does it make you feel that your husband's not in town for your Mother's Day?
I understand because he lived with his mom separately since he was 13 years old. So so I think it's understandable. Yeah.
Oh, Mother's Day!
Well, we met each other just 1 hour ago.
And we haven't stopped talking since. And here we are, and we have many things in common.
Yeah.
And then
we lived in Montreal.
We lived in Montreal. She used to live in Beijing. I've been to Beijing.
Yeah.
And then her daughter got married in Paris. I spent time in Paris. My daughter and son-in-law lived in London. So
what a fate.
Yeah.
So, what are you guys' ideal Mother's Days?
Ideal Mother's Day.
Yeah.
And then
fly to New York and see our kids. Can we get a direct flight?
Yeah.
Well, we have no choice. Our families, her daughter and son are in New York, and my only child, my daughter, is. And my grandchildren.
Yeah, maybe we can spend the Mother's Day together.
Yeah. Well, we'll see.
We go for a happy hour. Be happy.
That'll be a happy Mother's Day.
Happy Mother's Day.
Oh, and a very happy Mother's Day to them. We're taking your special Mother's Day messages for the mom in your life. You can email bctoday@cbc.ca or call us 1-800-825-5950, 604-669-3733, or just hit pound 690. Pal sent us this email. On the occasion of Mama's Day, here's a short and sweet poem for my mama from her daughter Pal and granddaughter Vivi. Mom, you are my rock and my whole world. Your gentle kindness and calm strength shape who I am every single day. Your wisdom and patience guide me quietly and lovingly through every challenge. Watching you with Vivi fills my heart with pure joy. The way you laugh with her, teach her, and love her are the most precious moments I've ever known. These memories are treasures I hold close, and I wouldn't trade a single one for anything in the world. Happy Mother's Day to my very best one, my mom, my role model, and my friend. And to all the amazing, loving mothers out there, may your day be as wonderful as you are. That is a beautiful message, pal. Thank you very much for that. Let's go now to the phones, and Heidi is on the line with a message for Mom from Nelson. Hi, Heidi.
Hi, Michelle. Happy Mother's Day to you, and nice to talk to you again. I called in on International Women's Day, and I'm so happy to have a message for my mom today, Hannah Haddikin. And just wanted to say, I love you so much, Mom. I think you're listening because you were and you always listen to the noon show, and you were on International Women's Day, and you are such a blessing in my life. You are so hugely appreciated. You give so much of yourself always. We, family, love you dearly. Your community loves you. I'm so blessed to have you in my life. And I also want to say a very happy Mother's Day to my Auntie Vi, my niece Deanna, my sister Lena, who all these women in my life and all these mothers are just absolutely incredible, and I'm so blessed. And on Sunday, we will be heading to local nurseries, and I'm hoping my mom can pick out a beautiful flower basket for herself and lunch at my house and swapping winter tires. So it's very productive.
You are surrounded. You're surrounded by all this love. Have a wonderful time on Sunday, Heidi. Thank you very much.
You as well. Thank you, Michelle.
And hello to Hannah. Happy Mother's Day to you. Bonnie is next in Nelson now. Hi, Bonnie.
Hello.
Hi. What's your special Mother's Day message?
Well, I have a poem I wrote for her. I'd like to read it.
Sure, yes.
That's possible. My mother died years ago, but my mother supported me on a lousy job she had. She sent me to Europe. She took care of my, she was just, well, you have the book, so you have that other poem in there. But this is a poem I read at the cemetery. I couldn't, it was very hard for me to read, but this is a different poem, so I'll try and read it fast, okay?
Okay.
No, I loved her. Her name was Myra Mickey. She had 3 names. I remember Mama. You know that show? My mama was the most beautiful woman in the world. My mama was the smartest woman in the world. My mama was the most generous woman in the world. She sent me to college and paid for my loan. She kept in touch wherever I roamed. She marked life's important dates with cards and with handy checks. I guess it was not the daughter for her to dress like she wanted, but she kept me dressed no matter where I went and reduced my clothing budget so I could pay my own rent. She drove me crazy, as most parents do, and I left her behind my own life to pursue. But I cried because her life at the end was so bad. I miss the B&O. She always called me B&O daughter. I miss the B&O mama that I ever could have had.
Oh, Bonnie.
And I know I loved her very much. And
I can tell.
Yeah, I miss her a lot.
Oh, she did a lot for you.
I've got lilacs. Love lilacs. I've got lilacs here for her. Yeah.
Bonnie, thank you very much. Thank you so much. What a beautiful tribute to your mother. Roman is next now, calling from Port Alberni with a Mother's Day message. Hi, Roman.
Hi, good afternoon, and happy Mother's Day to you as well, and to all the moms that are listening.
Thank you.
What popped in my head and in my heart from when you asked for us to come up with a message, and my mother's name is Chisma. And as a man, as your son, my male analytical brain always tried to figure out just how you did it. How did you make it work? How did you take care of us 5 kids and 8 other children without help from anyone? How did you make it happen? And my heart softly but firmly and gently reminded me consistently, do not figure it out. Let the magic stay. And that's what I'll do. Your magic, pure magic, Mom. I love you.
Roman.
Thank you.
Thank you very much, and a very happy Mother's Day to Chisma. Roman, thank you. That was beautiful. Some emails are coming in now as well. Marion writes us, this Mother's Day, my mom, Doreen, is very much in my thoughts. Mom passed away in March 2024. Last May, my sister and I were caught up in settling her affairs, and planning her celebration of life. This year, I have much more time to think about her, and I miss her terribly. We always celebrated May Days with her. Her wedding anniversary is May 11th. Her birthday is May 19th. And of course, Mother's Day. This May, Mom is very much in my thoughts for all those reasons. If you can, hug your mom while you still have her. Marian, thank you so much for that beautiful tribute. And we're taking your special Mother's Day messages here on BC Today. And I would say do have your Kleenex on hand because these are incredibly heartwarming and really, you may cry a few tears as you listen to these messages, but they are so heartwarming. So thanks very much for these messages. 1-800-825-5950, 604-669-3733. You can have, you just hit pound 690 on your phone or email bctoday@cbc.ca. Kathy is next now. And Kathy, thanks so much for calling in. Hi there, Kathy.
Sorry, I thought I'd already given my message. I'm a bereaved mother. My son died 30 years ago, a 17-year-old boy in an accident. And I want my message to go out to other bereaved mothers on Mother's Day that you will always be a mother, especially those mothers who lost their only child, and I know several of them.
Absolutely.
Early on, the grief is so terrible, but later, now I can remember my son's birth and celebrate it rather than his death.
Happy Mother's Day to you. Thank you so much. And what an important message.
Thank you.
Kathy, thank you for the call. That's Kathy in North Vancouver. Really important message to share today as well. We have another email now, and this one is sent to us from Divya Banerjee, who actually works with On the Coast here at CBC Vancouver. And Divya writes, this is for those who live away from their family, for those who left home not to run, but to become. Dear Mom, I'm always torn in two places, one where my blood lives and one where my soul lives. And no matter how full my life becomes, there's always an empty chair at the table. Always someone I love who is too far away to hold. Missing you always. Happy Mother's Day. Very happy Mother's Day to Divya's mom there. Our email address is bctoday@cbc.ca. Our phone number is 604-669-3733, 1-800-825-5950, 604-669-3733, or just hit pound 690. And Nadine is our next caller now from Courtney. Hi, Nadine. Welcome. Hi, Nadine.
Oh, this isn't Nadine, it's Peter.
Okay. Hi, Peter. Where are you calling from?
East Van.
Okay.
Vancouver.
Yes. Thanks for calling in, Peter. What's your special Mother's Day message?
I just want to say thank you for everything she's done for me. Know that I want to give her a heavenly Mother's Day. She's been gone for quite a while now, and that's always in my heart. I miss her and love her every day.
Always in your heart. And thank you so much for sharing that today.
Thank you.
That's Peter in Vancouver. Another message now from Natalie in Kelowna. This is an email to BC Today. I want to say how much I appreciate my mom, Adria. I've been a single mom for several years now. My mom has given me, my kids, and myself so much love and support. I could not have gone through some tough times without you. I want to wish all moms a happy Mother's Day. And that's from Natalie in Kelowna. Natalie, thank you. Our email again is bctoday@cbc.ca. Lori is our next caller now with a special Mother's Day message from Nelson. Hi, Lori.
Hi, thanks for taking my call. I
Yes.
just wanted to give a shout out to all the people for whom Mother's Day might be a difficult day because they're estranged or, didn't have a great mom. I know most moms are great, but it can be a really hard day if you don't have the kind of mom that everybody's describing. So I just want to say I'm thinking of those people as well this weekend.
Yes, absolutely. It can be a hard day for people with those complicated feelings. Lori, thank you very much for raising that as well. Our next caller now is Varya at Lee Creek. Hi, Varya.
Hi, I've just been quickly trying to eat so I can be ready to leave as soon as
It is
the show
lunchtime.
done,
That's
but-
true. Makes sense.
I just wanted to call in, and my mom lives out here in the North Shuswap, and so do I, and she is one of the most amazing people in the world. She built her own home. She's been a lifetime, half-time single parent. My sister and I always went back and forth between our parents. And she's been a great inspiration, and she's still alive, thank God, not like a lot of these people who tearing up listening to everybody's stories about their parents who aren't here anymore.
Yeah.
And I would imagine she might be listening, and she's just, I mean, I say she built her own house, she built her own windows, with help from people, not certainly doing it all herself, and employed in different areas, has been living with rheumatoid arthritis for a very long time, always needs a positive attitude, and is just, has an amazing garden, and she's just, helped start the farmers market in our community and was the treasurer for it for like 10 or 12 years.
Wow.
And she's often an unsung hero within the community, or I think she feels that way, but really, she is an amazing part of this community and this family.
Wow. You've just sung her praises, Varia. Thank you very much. Happy Mother's Day to your mom.
Okay, thank you.
That's Varia at Lee Creek. And this is from our colleague here on BC Today, Allison Cole, for our mom, Mayela, in Port Hardy. And we have a photo of her with her daughters, too. This photo brings up some cherished memories of the past. We will always be your babies, and we couldn't ask for a more caring and loving mom. Wishing you a happy Mother's Day weekend filled with sunshine and butterflies. Your aging daughters, Allison and Leah Cole. And there's a very cute picture of them at a birthday party together. Allison's mom, happy birthday. Our number again, 1-800-825-5950, 604-669-3733. You can hit pound 690 on your cell phone. Lots of emails coming in too. David writes, my mom was born on Victory Day, June 1929, long before World War II. She echoed throughout her life. She inspired Hockeyville in Mackenzie, BC, 2011. Look it up. We will, David. But my mom was one of the first moms in Mackenzie, and her friendship spanned all generations. R.I.P. Jan 16, 2011. My mom went to heaven on the back of a cottontail rabbit. David, beautiful. Thank you very much for that. Anna writes as well, hello, we wish you all the best today and always to you and the CBC team. Happy Mother's Day. Thank you very much, Anna. Happy Mother's Day to you. And Douglas writes from Dragon Lake, my Irish goddess mother would have been 106 years old this year, but her lasting presence that I see in my daughter and my 3-year-old granddaughter is such a treasure. That's beautiful, Douglas. Thank you from Dragon Lake. And let's go back to our phone lines now. Albert is calling from Seke. Hi, Albert.
Hi, how are you today?
I am really well. Thank you very much for calling.
Yes, I just want to say it's been 28 years since Mom left, and I miss her every day. And I just want to remind people that are having, disagreements with your mom, don't do that. Just love your mom.
Yeah.
Yeah. So just enjoy the weekend, everybody, and just love your mom.
That, I think, is a good message. Everyone's listening closely right now, Albert.
Thank you. Yeah.
Thank you very much.
Not a lot of words to say. It's a very simple message. She brought you into this world. She kept you alive, fed you and took care of you, and here you are today listening to me on the radio.
Albert, yeah, good caveat there. Thank you very much for that. That's a reminder from Albert, and who's calling it from Seke. Again, our numbers, we have about 2 minutes left for your calls and your special Mother's Day messages. 1-800-825-5950, 604-669-3733. You can also email bctoday@cbc.ca. And Kaylee is our next caller now from Gabriola Island. Hi, Kaylee.
Hi there. I'm calling in to just sing a quick lullaby. As a mom, I have 3 sons, and this is for everyone who's missing their mama today. I love you more than words can say, my love, more than words can say. I love you more and more each day, my love, more and more each day. Okay. That's it.
I bet your three sons love it. Kaylee, thank you very much. Happy Mother's Day to you.
Thank you.
Take care. That is Kaylee at Gabriola Island. Dan Burrett, my colleague Dan Burrett, just sent me this. Having been raised, uplifted, and firmly guided by an army of aunts, grandmas alongside my mom, I send a shout out to the mother figures in people's lives in all forms. Yes, that's very true. Aunts, stepmoms, mothers-in-law, and everyone in between. That is such a great point. I remember my mom very, very fondly, of course, and she passed away many years ago, but I think of her all the time. So happy Mother's Day to her, but also a very happy Mother's Day to my mother-in-law, who is a mother figure in my life and never fails to think of me and her grandkids. Absolutely great point there, Dan. bctoday@cbc.ca is our email address. Really appreciate hearing from all of you. And as I mentioned, we will be giving away 3 BC Today prizes. And so we've drawn for a BC Today prize pack for each of these callers and emailers. Natalie, who emailed us, congratulations. And Heidi and Kathy, you each get a BC Today prize pack. Congratulations. We will send them to you. We'll contact you to get your mailing addresses. Thank you to everyone. And I wish you all and all the mother figures out there as well a very, very happy Mother's Day.